Time now to debate some of the big stories of the week with the Inside Utah Politics panel. This week we have State Representative Carol Spackman Moss and State Senator Dan McKay. Great to have both of you on the show. Thanks for being here.
Thank you. Let's
get right into the budget. The governor unveiling his proposal during the week for a $25 billion spending budget. Representative, let's start with you. What are the top takeaways from what the governor unveiled?
Well, the governor's priorities focus on all the biggest needs of the state: housing, water, education, food insecurity. And thus, it's a good budget because it really focuses on the things that people care most about and our state really truly needs, with water being right up there at the top.
Senator, your initial thoughts on the governor's proposal?
You know, it's interesting when you have a Democratic lawmaker talking about how great the governor's budget is. If I was the governor, I might be a little worried about that, right? But, you know, those are appropriate priorities and they really match the priorities of the state of Utah. And, you know, the only part that I'm not hearing enough of is a conversation of getting some of the ongoing tax money back to the people who paid it.
Talk more about that. How should that be done?
You know, there are ways, you know, clearly we've had record increases in our ongoing revenue funds over the last 3 years. It's been amazing. In addition to the investments of the federal government, and I say investments just because that's what free money sounds like, but in addition to the investments that the federal government has made in infrastructure, et cetera, during the COVID pandemic, we also have seen, you know, income increased in our income taxes. And you can comfortably see that there are other states who are lowering their tax rates, and you can easily see, you know, a tax rate that is sustainable that is lower than it is today. I mean, I think you could see a 4.6% personal income tax rate, and I think that income tax rate would help match the priorities of Utah citizens as well, which is keeping more of their money.
Representative, your thoughts on that? Should more money be going back in a form of a tax break?
If we fund education the way the governor has proposed and some of these other priorities, if they get funded to the level that I think they need to be, certainly housing is one, and there's still money, I would be in favor of a small tax decrease or refund. What I do have a problem with is every time money is added to the rainy day fund, it's now over $1 billion, and for all the years I've been in, we keep putting more money, but we never use it, even in times when we really should have, I think. So, you know, I think there needs to be a balance. You didn't give me time to say the however part of the governor's budget, and that is, I know the reality is that the Republican majority will likely not pay a lot of attention to that budget, and I think that's a shame.
Senator, your thoughts on that?
Well, I think, you know, rainy day funds are always an interesting component, right? They're meant to be for rainy days or emergencies or those kinds of things. And the question is, if we didn't dip into it during the pandemic, and if that wasn't an emergency, boy, when is an emergency? And then you have to start asking yourselves,
that's a really good question.
Are we overstocking our emergency funds? And then I'd say, you know, the idea that we're going to ignore the governor's budget and do one thing or another, I think that's probably more blustering than truth.
Very good.
We will wait and see, I suppose. Representative, your thoughts on the surplus? More than expected, how should it be put to use?
Well, as I said, education is key. Housing is really a key component, and we've worked on housing for a long time and homelessness, but it's always been around the edges, building more shelters, but we really need to look carefully at permanent housing for low-income people. And I think that is something that surplus should be spent on. And then education is in a really critical place right now. That is, teachers are leaving, not a lot coming into the profession. They're tired. They feel under attack in many cases. And we need to lower classroom size. We need to get more support personnel. For schools, certainly social workers, psychologists, and pay teachers more. There are a lot of needs in public education and higher education, and this is a year where we can really make a difference.
Yeah, let's dig into that a little bit more, Senator, because the governor's proposal was close to $1 billion in new spending. Is that appropriate? More,
boy.
less? Your thoughts?
You know, it's amazing to watch how much the state budget has grown since I've been in the legislature for 10 years now. And watching that growth of the state's budget makes you step back and wonder, you know, let's think about some of the symptoms of some of our growth problems when we talk about affordable housing. Obviously, we have overheated in some ways our job market, where we cannot keep the you know, the number of people employed. And I know that Representative Moss probably shares my opinion on this, and so does the governor, that we probably need to look at ways of paring back our economic incentives for attracting employers. No reason to, you know, have a complete melee going on in our housing industry and then pile on top of it with new and additional people from outside the state while we're trying to solve these problems. So I think that's probably, you know, you're going to see some efforts in that direction as well. So not only dealing with housing and all the education and other requirements that are needed, but also realize that when we put together like an economic incentive program, a lot of our school districts are participating in those programs with those employers. It'd be better probably to cool those a little bit.
Specifically, though, on the issue of teachers and the climate they're dealing with right now, what can you, as a legislature, do to help alleviate some of that?
Well, I have always been a huge proponent of trying to find ways that parents can be involved in their children's education. And I think that including and in trying to find ways to increase more parental choice and more market-based type of decisions in our education, locking parents in is causing people to feel more frustration than they are excited. And so you see a hesitancy from some. I would see that we would try and find ways to give parents more mobility and allow schools to more customize their learning environments.
Representative, you're growing more concerned with how some parents are being involved.
Yes, and I taught high school for years, 30 plus years, and I had engaged parents, and I welcomed that. And there's still many parents are engaged, and I think every teacher welcomes that. But we see a new group of parents who are not wanting to be engaged, but rather attack.
Enraged
And disrupting school board meetings and doing things that are very hostile and damaging to teachers' morale and ultimately to kids. And this doesn't help. Taking books off library shelves, telling teachers what they should teach, saying that they have to show everything days ahead of time. I mean, if you're an engaged parent, you look at the work your students are doing. This is making teachers overall are feeling disrespect right now. And they feel that this hostility is, for many of them, just more than they can take. They've been teaching online, in person. It's been a very stressful 2 years. And it's time, and I think there is a lot of choice right now. Open enrollment. People in my neighborhood go to a variety of high schools, and they pick the one that fits their students' need best. I think we're doing a great job there. We've got to step up, and right now in Granite District, one of the largest ones, they have 16 vacancies in secondary schools, and they have 9 in elementary, and those are classrooms where there's a permanent or maybe a substitute, a different substitute every week. That does not help learning. That does not serve students well.
No, definitely not. Senator, I'd like to dig into this idea that you brought up of parental rights. Where's the line between being appropriately engaged and, as you say, stepping over that line and being enraged?
You know, it's interesting. Our parents have, for a lot of years, have felt, and increasingly so, disjointed from the classroom. And part of that is the parents' fault, right? You've got people who are just too busy to be involved. The COVID pandemic invited more parents into the classroom, so to speak, where the classroom came home. And you had parents who were probably more active in their kids' education than they have been, you know, in the previous years. And I think that's causing probably some of this consternation, where there's a little bit of suspicion about some of the curriculum. And, you know, this happens, right? Curriculum can slip. It can go into places where parents are uncomfortable, communities are uncomfortable, and, you know, when you wade into those uncomfortable areas and you cross over from the educating to programming, those are difficult spots to be in. I don't know how much of that goes on, right? In the classrooms I've visited, in the classroom I've been in, I haven't seen a lot of programming. but I have heard from parents that are very frustrated about experiences that they've had in the classroom. And so increasing transparency, some of those things are very important. But also, if you look at like taking, for example, taxpayers' tax money, and if the middle class or the poor or the Title I schools, if these parents had the ability to leave their local schools and look at private options with some of that tax money, it's amazing how much options how many options that would open up for a lot of these kids.
Okay, Representative, we have about 15 to 30 seconds left. The last word for you.
I think I'm hearing the word voucher behind what the senator is saying, and that was a failure. I mean, the attempt to do that, and we've tried that. Parents can take their kids to private schools.
We haven't tried it.
Yes, well, it was a referendum and it was repealed because this state overall loves their public schools. Over 90% of kids go. We have public charter schools. We have open enrollment. I don't think we should start subsidizing private schools.
All right.
And that's a completely subject. I don't even want to go there.
All right, we have run out of time, so we can't go there anyway. Appreciate both of you being here. Great conversation. Thanks. Stay with